Very good afternoon, you all. This is Dr. Gunamani Jana and the principal of Roland Institute of Technology. We are happy to celebrate here the Rashtriya Ekata Divas on the occasion of 150th birth anniversary of Sardar Ballav Bhai Patel, the Iron Man of India. And this is the functions we are celebrating at Roland Institute of Technology. And we know our beloved leader, Ballav Bhai Jagarbai Patel was born on 31st October 1875, the same day, at Nadiad, Gujarat. And since 2014, this day has been observed nationwide as National Unit Day, also known as Ekta Divas, to honor Patel's pivotal role in the integrating over 500 princely states into the Indian Union after independence, earning him the title of Unifier of India. And this 150th birth anniversary of Sardar Patel is commemorated in this 2025. So coming to the history of Sardar Vallabhai Patel, he was a successful lawyer and one of the Mahatma Gandhi's earliest political lieutenants, and he organized peasants from Kheda, Barsad, and Bardoli in Gujarat in non-violent civil disobedience against the British Raj, becoming one of the most influential leader in Gujarat. He was appointed as the 49th President of Indian National Congress under the chairmanship of Patel. Fundamental rights and economic policy resolution was passed by the Congress. Patel's position at the highest level in the Congress was largely connected with his role from 1934 onwards, when the Congress abandoned its boycott for elections in the party organization. And while promoting the Quiet India movement, Patel made a climatic speech to more than 1 lakh people gathered at Gwalior Tank in Bombay on 7th August 1942. Historians believe that Patel's speech was instrumental in electrifying nationalists who up to then had been skeptical of the proposed rebellion. And Patel's organizing work in this period is credited by historians with ensuring the success of the rebellion across India. And as the first Home Minister and Deputy Prime Minister of India, Patel organized relief efforts from partisan refugees fleeing from Punjab and Delhi from Pakistan and worked to restore peace. It was one of the best contributions. And besides those provinces that had been under direct British rules, approximately 565 self-governing princely states had been released from this British sovereignty by the Indian Independence Act 1947, 10th and 11th, that is Government Order GO 6.C.30. And Patel, together with Jawaharlal Nehru and Mountbatten, persuaded almost every princely state to accede to India. And Patel's commitment to national integrations in the newly independent country earned him the sobriquet Iron Man of India. He is known as the Iron Man of India. He is also remembered as a patron saint of India's civil servants for playing a pioneering role in establishing the modern All India service system. The Statue of Unity, the world's tallest statue, which was erected by the Indian government at a cost of around 420 million US dollar, and it was dedicated to him on 31st October 2018, and is approximately 182 meter or 597 feet in height. His brother Vital Bhai and Bose had been highly critical in Gandhi's leadership during their travels to Europe, and by the time Vital Bhai died in October 1933, and Bose had become his primary caregiver. On his deathbed, he left a will to Swords, bequeathing three-quarters of his money to Bose to use in promoting India's cause in other countries. And in the 1946 Indian provincial elections, the Congress won a large majority of these elected seats, dominating the Hindu electorate. However, the Muslim League led by Muhammad Ali Jinnah won a large majority of Muslim elected seats. The League had resolved in 1940 to demand Pakistan an independent state for Muslims and was a fierce critic of the Congress. The Congress formed governments in all provinces, save Sindh, Punjab, Bengal, where it entered into coalition with other parties. As the first Home Minister, Patel played one of the major role in the integration of the princely state onto the Indian Federation. And this achievement formed the uh, cornerstone of Patel's popularity in the post-independence era. And he is, in this regard, compared to Otto von Bismarck, who unified the many German states in 1871. Under the plan of 3 June, more than 565 princely states were given the option of joining either India or Pakistan or choosing independence. And Indian nationalists and a large segment of the public feared that if these states did not accede, most of the people and territory will be fragmented. The Congress, as well as the senior British officials, considered Patel the best man for this task of achieving conquest of the princely states by the Indian dominion. Gandhi had said to Patel, the problem of the states is so difficult that you alone can solve it. In this regard, Patel was considered a statesman of integrity with the practical acumen and a resolve to accomplish a monumental task. He asked V.P. Menon, a senior civil servant with whom he had worked on the partition of India, to become his right-hand man as Chief Secretary to the States Ministry. On 6th August 1947, Patel began lobbying the princes, attempting to make them receptive towards dialogue with the future government and forestall potential conflicts. Patel used social meetings and unofficial surroundings to engage most of the monarchs, inviting them to lunch and tea at his home in Delhi. At these meetings, Patel explained that there was no inherent conflict between the Congress and the princely states or others. Patel invoked the patriotism of India's monarchs, asking them to join in the independence of their nation and act as responsible rulers who cared about the future of their people. He persuaded the princes of 565 states of the impossibility of independence from the Indian Republic, especially in the presence of growing opposition from their subjects. He proposed favorable terms for the merger, including the creation of privy purses for the rulers' descendants. So, while encouraging the rulers to act out of patriotism, Patel did not rule out the forces, stressing that the princes would need to accede to India in good faith. He set a deadline of 15th August 1947 for them to sign the instrument of accession document. But all but three of the states willingly merged into the Indian Union. The three states who did not agree were Jammu Kashmir, Junagadh, and Hyderabad. Junagadh was especially important to Patel since it was his home state of Gujarat. And it was also important because in this Kathiawar district, it was the ultra-rich Somnath temple, which is in the 11th century had been plundered by Muhammad Ghazni, Ghazni and who damaged the temple and its idols to rob it of its riches, including the emeralds, diamonds, and gold. Under pressure from Sir Shahnawaz Bhutto, the Nawab had acceded to Pakistan, and it was, however, quite far from Pakistan, and 80% of its populations were Hindus. Patel combined diplomacy with force, demanding the Pakistani annual the accession, and that the Nawab acceded to India. He sent the army to occupy three principalities of Junagadh to show his resolve. Following widespread protests and the formation of a civil government, or RG Hikmat, both Bhutto and Nawab fled to Karachi, and under Patel's orders, the Indian army and police units marched into the state. And a plebiscite organized later produced 99.5% vote for merger with India. In a speech at the Bahauddin College in Junagadh, following the latter's takeover, Patel emphasized his feeling of urgency on Hyderabad, which he felt was more vital to India than Kashmir. If Hyderabad does not see the writing on the wall, it goes the way Junagadh has gone. Pakistan attempted to set up Kashmir against Junagadh. When he raised the question of settlement in a democratic way, Pakistan at once told us that they would consider if we were applied that policy to Kashmir. Our reply was that we would agree to Kashmir if they agreed to Hyderabad. Hyderabad was the largest of the princely states and it included parts of present-day Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, and Maharashtra states. Its ruler then Nizam Osman Ali Khan was a Muslim, although over 80% of its people were Hindus. The Nizam sought independence of or accession with Pakistan. Muslim forces loyal to Nizam, they were called Razakars, under Qasim Rizvi, pressed the Nizam to hold out against India while organizing attacks on people on Indian soil. Even though a standstill agreement was signed due to the desperate efforts of Lord Mountbatten to avoid a war, the Nizam rejected deals and changed his position. On 7th September, Jawaharlal Nehru gave ultimatum to Nizam demanding ban on the Razakars and a return to Indian troops to Secunderabad. Pakistan Foreign Minister Muhammad Jafarullah Khan warned India against this ultimatum. The invasion of Hyderabad was then launched on 13th September after the death of Jinnah on 11th September. After the defeat of Razakars, the Nizam signed the instrument of accession joining India. And when the Pakistani invasion of Kashmir began in September 1947, Patel immediately wanted to send troops into Kashmir. But agreeing with Nehru and Mountbatten, he waited until Kashmir's monarch had acceded to India. Patel then oversaw India's military operations to secure Srinagar and the Barbula Pass, and the forces retrieved much territory from the invaders. Patel, along with Defense Minister Baldev Singh, administered the entire military effort, arranging for troops from different parts of India to be rushed to Kashmir and for a major military road connecting Srinagar to Pathankot to be built in 6 month duration. Patel strongly advised Nehru against going for arbitration to the United Nations, insisting that Pakistan had been wrong to support the invasions and the accession to India was valid. He did not want the foreign interference in a bilateral affair. Patel opposed the release of 550 million to the government of Pakistan and convinced that the money would go to finance the war against India in Kashmir. The cabinet had approved his point, but it was reversed when Gandhiji, who feared an intensifying rivalry and further communal violence, went on a fast on to death to obtain the release. Patel, though not estranged from Gandhi, was deeply hurt at this rejection of his counsel and the cabinet decision. In 1949, a crisis arose when the number of Hindu refugees entering West Bengal, Assam, and Tripura from East Pakistan climbed up to 8 lakhs. The refugees, in many cases, were being forcibly evicted by Pakistani authorities and were victims of intimidations and violence. Nehru invited Liaquat Ali Khan, Prime Minister of Pakistan, to find a peaceful solution. Despite his aversion, Patel reluctantly met Khan and discussed the matter. Patel strongly criticized Nehru's plan to sign a pact that would create minority commissions in both countries and pledged both India and Pakistan to commitment to protect each other's minorities. And Sama Prasad Mukherjee and K.C. Nioge, two Bengali ministers resigned and Nehru was intensely criticized in West Bengal for allegedly appeasing Pakistan. This pact was immediately jeopardized. Patel, however, publicly came to Nehru's aid. He gave emotional speeches to members of parliament and the people of West Bengal and spoke with scores of delegations of congressmen, Hindus, Muslims, and other public interest groups, persuading them give peace a final effort. In April 2015, the government of India declassified surveillance reports suggesting that Nehru was among officials involved in alleged government authorities authorized spying on the family of Subhash Chandra Bose. So in this auspicious occasion, we, the students, the staffs, and management, we express our gratitude to the man of India, Sardar Bhai Patel. Thank you all for attending this thing.